Hello, and welcome to Candidates Up Front. This is a public interest election program of Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Berks County. Our May 16th primary election is coming up. Democrats and Republicans will vote for judges, school directors, and county, township, borough, and city officials. The deadline to register to vote is May 1st. To check your voting status, go to votepa.gov. That's vote.pa.gov. You can register, change your party, locate your polling place, or apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot. The deadline to register is May 1st. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is May 9th. The League is interviewing those candidates who wanted to be interviewed in contested races. For each race, the candidates will get the same basic questions and the same amount of time to answer them.
Hello, I'm Renee Dietrich, a member of the League of Women Voters of Berks County. The featured office today is Reading City Council. Council members act on legislation, set the budget, and confirm appointments of the city manager and members of boards. They need to have lived in the district 1 year prior to the primary and must retain residency in their district. They serve part-time for a 4-year term and the salary is $5,000. There are 2 Democratic candidates in District 1, Stephen V. Yarnell and Vanessa Campos. District 1 is in Southwest Reading. Each candidate's views are their own and not those of the League or BCTV. And our candidate today is Stephen V. Yarnell. Welcome, Mr. Yarnell.
Hello.
Please tell the viewers about yourself and why you are running.
Well, I grew up in District 1, and I am a lawyer and spent a great deal of time working in relationship with the city charter and with various iterations of it. I've been very involved through my family with the creation of the Reading Area Community College and with other events that relate to city events. I was the lawyer who represented the city in the Antietam Lake disputes that occurred a number of years ago, and we were successful in all respects. I have a long-standing relationship with various council members and have a history of involvement in city issues that have been pertinent to me and have been, I believe, successful in helping the city to prosper and to succeed.
Okay, thank you. Now, what particular education, and you did talk about some of the background, but a little more detail, what do you bring to your position in education and background?
Well, I am a graduate of the University of Pittsburgh Law School and also attended the University of Pennsylvania Master's Degree Program in Urban Planning. So I have an extensive knowledge about legal issues and with respect to various issues affecting cities. My education has facilitated my ability to represent people and to be helpful to people with respect to issues relating to the city, including occasions where I have been able to give advice to various council members with respect to the operations of the city charter. I think more importantly, I have an extensive degree of experience which allows me to view things in terms of historical circumstances. I am knowledgeable of the Act 47 processes and am aware the city has succeeded in completing them and would like to help to succeed in the future.
Thank you. Now, how about your personal qualities that will help you do all these things?
Well, I think that I am a very friendly person and have the ability to interact with other people that I work with. In this regard, my interactions with other city council members would be ones that I think would be very helpful. Over the years, I have known and had relationships with various city council people and with the mayor. Currently, I have had a fair amount of interaction with the current mayor and applaud him for his positiveness and ability to interact with people in a manner that encourages positive actions with respect to the city of Reading.
All right, now what do you think are the biggest issues that face Reading in the next 4 years?
I think there are three very large issues. One is the issue of blight. I believe that there needs to be a process put into place where buildings that are in a situation of blight be evaluated and be kind of triaged to determine which ones are in the worst shape, and to work with the owners and with others and help to revitalize them. I think also there are issues relating to safety and needing people to perceive Reading and to actually have Reading be seen as a safe place to be and to interact. And finally, I think there's a need to find ways to make Reading more prosperous, to allow there to be greater business development and other development throughout the city that will allow people to prosper.
Is that it?
I think so.
That's a lot of issues. And what do you think are the most important concerns of the people in your district?
Well, I think the most important concerns in my district are ones relating to safety. And I think that they are ones that require some intelligent evaluation of the police force and how it is operated and what is happening. I think that people also are concerned about the differences between Lancaster Avenue, which is a vibrant business area in large part, though not entirely, versus areas in the other parts of District 1, which are less prosperous in some respects, but involve much more manufacturing. So there needs to be some way to entice more manufacturing and more ability to allow businesses to prosper.
Okay, now, council gets to approve mayoral appointments to various boards and commissions, and the city has many boards and commissions. So what criteria would you consider in voting to approve a mayoral appointment to boards and commissions? What criteria would you look for?
Well, first and foremost, I would look to the qualifications of the person. They need to have a demonstrable, demonstratable knowledge of the matter that they're being selected for a board. They need to have expressed opinions that reflect a positive approach. And they also need to be willing to be cooperative and work with others, because without that, nothing will happen.
Okay. Now, you mentioned blighted properties as one of the biggest issues, so let's talk about that for a minute. Some say they should be fixed, redeveloped, repurposed. How specifically would you address the issue of blighted properties in the city?
What I would first do is I would find a way to get a assessment of blighted properties to identify where they are and what they are. I would then determine who owns them. And after that, I would look to see which were the blighted properties that cause a risk of actual danger. And in those instances, they may need to be demolished. In other instances, they may be able to be repurposed. There are architects and engineers who specialize or have expertise in those areas, and there needs to be an ability to tap into those sorts of individuals to develop ways of making the properties better. Finally, there has to be a mechanism to find people who would have interest in those properties. I know that there are people who are currently interested in several properties which may be considered to be blighted, and the city needs to find a way to facilitate helping those people to rehabilitate those properties.
Thank you. You also mentioned safety, so let's talk about that. Most of the time, Reading is a safe place to live, work, and visit. Yet, violence related to drugs, gangs, and disagreement hurts its neighborhoods and reputation. Specifically, do you have any suggestions about what the city can do to thwart this violence?
Yes, there are many federal programs that exist that relate to safety, such as the city currently has most of its vehicles for the police force are paid for by the federal government. There needs to be ways of interacting with communities. There are many different communities in Reading that are different from one another, and there has to be a way of getting those communities to interact with one another so that the perceptions of fear are less, and the ability to ameliorate, to make those circumstances better so the likelihood of violence is less. There also needs to be a way of making the city more prosperous, because with greater economic security, there is almost always less violence.
Okay. Let's talk about money. Budget decisions are hard. Sometimes services that many people enjoy, like public parks and libraries, are underfunded. So things people need, like police, street repair, can be properly funded. How would you prioritize spending when you come to vote on the budget?
Well, as a practical matter, streets and police are a priority, but there are monies available through the federal government in order to get more assistance in that respect. But they cannot be done in a way that neglects parks and libraries, because parks and libraries allow people to interact with one another and to be more communicative with one another, and thereby create greater community. I would hope that there was a way to fund all of these activities, though it may require considerable creativity, which is something that I personally feel is a strength of mine in order to achieve that. And part of that can be achieved by getting people to communicate more with one another so that they will have a better understanding of what the priorities of the public are.
Well, that brings us to another question. How would you encourage public participation in issues being decided by City Council?
What I would do is I would find groups of people throughout the city and talk to them. I would personally go and interact with them. Now, obviously, I would focus on District 1, but I think that if there is a higher level of communication, there is a higher level also of satisfaction, so that people can express their opinions and those can then be translated into action of some kind or another, where possible.
Okay. What about groups of people? Can you get more people to participate?
I think through this business that I've described of attempting to get different communities in different parts of the city, whether it be Hampton Heights or Lancaster Avenue or the 6th Ward or anywhere else, to talk with one another and to have greater interaction with one another, that is what brings about greater ability to prioritize things and to work through the issues that are faced by the city.
If elected, what are your own personal priorities for the coming term?
I need to evaluate that in terms of having actual knowledge of the present day events in the city. But I think first and foremost, there must be a higher level of safety, and more significantly in some respects, a perception of safety within the city. And I also think there needs to be a high attention to development of businesses in the city. And finally, I think to the extent that there is a current belief that the city parking system is not working, that we need to sit down and work through how we can make that better.
Okay. So what are your specific ideas for how to make the city a more friendly and attractive place for families?
I think we need to not only have a mayor who is positive and speaking openly about positive things about Reading. I think that the city council members need to participate in that also. We need to engage other communities to come into the city and to actively participate in the city, so that they are able to understand that there is safety and that there are many things here to do. And that may require promoting things that the city is involved in, whether it be its library or its parks or the pagoda or other places. Alvernia University is a very positive force in District 1, and I believe that that is something that can be promoted. We are today in a building that has largely connected to Alvernia University and is being helpful in making the center city a more positive place to be.
Thank you. Now, how about making Reading more attractive to attract businesses? We have a number of empty buildings on Penn Street. How can we attract more businesses here?
Well, in that respect, I look to, as an example, the borough of West Reading. A number of years ago, it was in a condition where it was rather downtrodden. As a result of programs that were initiated by the first President Bush, there was money invested into West Reading through those programs that revitalized it. I think that the city needs to be involved in finding whether there are programs today that would allow Reading to do a similar thing and to entice businesses to move downtown and to get the office space more occupied by businesses that have, now that many of them have left the center city, we need to find others that will come in.
Okay. Tell the viewing audience how you are financing your campaign.
Well, I'm financing it in 3 ways. First is that I am contributing to it myself. Second is that I will contact people who live within the city who want to contribute to my campaign and do so and report that as is ethical. And finally, I will find people who do not live within the city but who live in Berks County or otherwise who have a desire for Reading to prosper, and hope that those people will be willing to contribute to my campaign so that I can hopefully succeed and make Reading a better place.
Okay. We've covered a lot of questions. I want to remind people that for more information on candidates, you can go to the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. Now, how about a closing statement? Somewhat, why should people vote for you?
I think people should vote for me because I have a great deal of experience. Now, this experience is lifelong. From the moment that I was born, my family was actively involved in doing things to help Reading. They range from the League of Women Voters to the Reading Area Community College to Antietam Lake and many other things. That experience also includes a very detailed knowledge of the city charter and other efforts to reform the political system in Reading. I've had contact with many people, including Mr. Boskov when he was alive, who spent a great deal of time and money in trying to help Reading through the Goggle Works and other things. There are other people who exist who are similarly interested in Reading. And I think as a result of my experience and with my ability to interact with people, that I can bring about change and hopefully make people feel that things are improved.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a tall order.
It is, but without tall orders and tall aspirations, things cannot be achieved that are significant.
Thank you, Mr. Yarnell, for sharing your views with us. Viewers, please remember that there is another candidate for City Council, District 1, on the Democratic ballot, Vanessa Campos. You can vote for 1. I want to remind you again about Vote 411. The candidates that are running for township and borough offices are putting their information there. Same with all those people who are running for school boards. The 18 school districts in Berks County are putting their information there too. So you need to be prepared when you vote by looking to vote411.org. Thank you for watching Candidates Up Front. Goodbye.
You will find the Candidates Upfront interviews on BCTV and on its website and its YouTube page. And for more information on candidates, you can go to the League's online voters guide, vote411.org. Or you can contact Berks County Election Services, elections@countyofberks.com. Their phone number is 610-478-6490. And thank you for watching Candidates Upfront.